Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bearded Men of Real Estate podcast, which actually in a podcast. This time we're live on Facebook. So say hello, everybody. My name's Ray Ellen. Joining with me is Dan Ludwig. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan. How you guys doing?
Dan, tell everybody where you're from.
I am from a little town. You may have heard of it in California called Los Angeles.
Ah, yes.
Some people have heard about it. Yeah.
Everyone around here says LA, they mean Lower Arkansas. So
I know you see those in the referral groups and stuff, and I see LA and I'm like,
that's right.
Oh, Louisiana. Okay.
Right. It's also a state.
It's my Southern California privilege coming through. Sorry.
And of course, my name's Ray Ellen. I am here in Little Rock, Arkansas. This is the Bearded Men of Real Estate show. A lot of times we as agents try to keep up with all the headlines, what's going on. And I usually spend some of my lunch times throughout the week reading these headlines, figuring out what the market's doing. As you guys know, I'm a data guy. And in doing that, I thought, well, I've got to read all these things anyway. I might as well put out some of the most interesting headlines and then read through them and make them public so more people can hear them. And there's no better way to do that than with another bearded brother.
That's right.
So hence the BMORE podcast, which Dan came up with the name. So without further ado, because I know we have a lot of headlines to go through, let's get into the show. And look, I even have check this out, a lower third for headlines. Yay.
Oh my gosh,
okay.
We're getting professional.
I know.
This is crazy.
Okay, so the economists warn that buyers face increasing troubles. So CNBC says that several reports point to both continued heat in home values as well as a pushback on home buyers. Prices remain nearly 6% higher than they were a year ago nationally, with some local markets seeing a double-digit annual price gains. Those prices are being driven by a severe lack of supply at the low end of the market, which is where most of the demand exists. So this means that the lower priced homes are seeing a bigger price gains than the higher priced homes because of the competition.
Yeah. That affects a lot here in Southern California because things are so expensive pretty much everywhere. Even if you're in a lower overall market, the high-end stuff is still the high-end stuff. It's just, it's just still that goes for that price, whatever that is in that market. But that lower stuff, that's where people are trying to get their foot in the door.
They're saying that a third of the homes that are for sale are in the higher end. Yeah.
And we say the same thing here, and it's just that same thing because we're going to talk a lot about it. I think today is inventory enough?
Right. Yeah.
Nope. So high home prices may be hitting their limit. There's so much demand for housing and so few homes for sale that prices have nowhere to go but up. So if we stop there, we could have a whole conversation just about that. Unless, of course, they get so high that potential buyers have no choice but to back away. And that may be what's happening now. And then again, that's kind of why I said on that last topic. After hitting a peak in March of this year, price gains month to month have been coming down. In July, the latest reading on home prices, the price gain compared with a year ago stabilized at 6.2%. That annual gain had been accelerating in every month this year, according to Black Knight Financial Services. Historically, home prices have always lagged sales, and sales have been falling for the past several months. While prices are not falling, the gains are cooling.
Okay, lot size. This is really interesting to me too.
This is a
lot
really
size
interesting
is record low.
Yeah, who can make talking about lot sizes interesting? Let's try
The
it.
National Association of Home Builders reports that the median lot size of a single-family detached home sold in 2016 stands at 8,562 square feet. That is so little here, or just under 1/5 of an acre.
Dude, that's huge.
This new record low is a decline since 2015, which the median lot size fell under 8,600 square feet for the first time since the Census Bureau's Survey of Construction started tracking these for single-family detached homes. So your yard's getting smaller.
I find that I never even thought to think about it nationally, but it's really interesting to see that stat because that's how they're talking. And because in California, I'll go on to it later, but it's a trend and it's trending down here. It's
interesting.
It's a little unfortunate. So we'll expand upon that. Pending home sales fell 2.6% in August, downgrading the 2017 forecast. Pending home sales sank in August for the 5th time in 6 months. And slower activity in the areas hit hard by hurricanes Harvey and Irma will likely pull existing sales for the rest of the year below the pace set in 2016, according to the National Association of Realtors. Lawrence Yun, we quote this guy a lot, chief economist, says the summer's terribly low supply levels have officially drained all of the housing market's momentum over the past year. With little relief expected from the housing shortages that continues to plague several areas. Yun believes the housing market is essentially stalled, which we thought was going to be, still in the future a little bit, that plateau, but we're seeing the stall kind of now.
Yeah, exactly. And Ryan Stoltz checks in and says, dueling beardos. Nice. Okay. All right, back to the headlines.
Anything your beard can do, my beard can do better.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we need to do, back and forth. Okay, housing starts are down to 4.7%. So the reports from the Commerce Department showed that a decline in building permits, raising concerns that the housing market recovery was stalling. Home building sales are well below their peaks, below the housing bubble burst in 2006. CNBC reported that housing starts decreased 4.7%, seasonally adjusted annual rate of 1.127 million units last month. The Commerce Department said it was the lowest in September of 2016 and marked the third monthly decline in starts.
I don't know if you guys are seeing a trend here, but we're talking about a lot of declines.
Right.
So again, we'll go into more on this, but there's a lot of good ways to use this info.
But wait, there's hope, Dan. What's the next story?
CNBC reports CMG. That's a lot of acronyms. CNBC reports CMG Financial, a mortgage lender, just launched Home Fund Me, the first online platform that allows borrowers to crowdfund their down payment. We kind of teased this in the last podcast. So they can crowdfund their down payment on a home purchase without fees and with the backing of mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Dude. In the report, CNBC states that the majority of millennials today may say they want to be homeowners, but that claim nearly always comes with the caveat of if I can afford the down payment. So their credit is probably fine. They probably have the income, but they can't afford the down payment, especially if they want to go the 20% route. High levels of student loan debt, high rent, and underemployment during the recession have left the largest generation with little savings and diminished hopes. It's so sad. Super positive today. Diminished hopes of homeownership. Quote by Christopher George, CEO of CMG Financial. This allows you to tell your story. It allows for folks to be able to buy into the story and what it is you have. Your loan story, your home story. Our tagline is fund your way home. Yeah.
This is interesting. We'll get into this as we take a deep dive into some of these. I want to talk first about, so that's your headlines, by the way. Transition.
Still working on that official transition.
So let's take a deep dive into this lot size. I found this really interesting because, in Arkansas, we still have, 5, 10, 20 acre lots in some places. It's kind of rare now in the city to have that. But our lots are still pretty large, 0.3. That's not uncommon.
Yeah.
So what's it like in your neck of the woods?
Everything like that 8,500, dipping down to 8,000. I just showed a bunch of homes yesterday and they were all 6,500 or less. And now, these are smaller homes. So they were 11 to 1,300 square feet. So and they're single stories. So, they don't take up a huge footprint on the lot. So you still feel like you have a bigger lot, but I would say this trend of going down is pulled heavily. If you just pulled California data, because a lot of our new construction is just home on top of home, and there's a good and bad to it. Okay, let's do the bad first. Is there's a house on top of a house. You don't get really the big backyard. It's more of a courtyard, and then you kind of make it your own. But literally, I don't know if you can also, but your neighbor's looking in on you.
Do you guys call those patio homes, or are those just normal homes in your area?
They're patio homes. Same thing. Patio. Yeah. And that's like where the house is 2,000 square feet and the lot is 2,500.
Right.
There's a highly desirable community in Chino here called the Preserve that it's just house on top of house. But here's the positive, right, is that these communities, the planned unit development, they're being built. So it's a little bit of greed, I think, so they can fit more homes in an area. But they're now being given, the school is usually in this little area, in this community. They'll usually have at least two, meaning the elementary and the middle school, and then they'll funnel to a high school somewhere nearby. But they'll have parks, they'll have pools. It's all dog friendly. So that's kind of the positive, is you get to use this community and you're out with people.
They're really nice planned unit development.
Yeah, the last excuse my voice. I don't want to talk about why it's messed up. Things I don't want to admit. So and they're planning them this way, so it's kind of cool, because I would say it's in the last maybe 10, 15 years they're doing these. And they're really cool communities. They're going to have your tennis courts. They're going to have your basketball courts. It's all there within your community. My thing is that it's making people's worlds so small, like our phones. It's meant to make our worlds big, right? But we're staring at this little screen, so our world is right here. So, I have mixed feelings about it, and the house on top of house thing and stuff. So I think this is very, very interesting.
In our area, there are a couple of, I guess you could say, planned developments. It's not nearly as extensive as it is in your area. But they do have, a lot of patio homes, a lot of amenities for those areas, a lot of extra things for those areas, but we just don't have much of that. I mean, normally we're still, kind of standard subdivisions. So I think we're probably keeping the average up. But we're not building nearly as many houses, just because the population's definitely a lot smaller. Right.
And I think, that has a lot to do with it. I wanted to ask a question for one sec, but so many people want to live in California. And we have had a trend this year of a lot of people selling and moving out. It's for maybe a lot of reasons, but the one is just, it's so expensive, and people can leverage a home here that's 1,300 square feet. They can sell it for 650 grand and then go buy, in Texas or Utah or these other really great states and have the same quality of life, but everything overall is cheaper, and the home prices, they can buy something all cash and then have a little nest egg. So we're seeing a lot of that.
It's interesting. Well, I'd love to hear what some of you that are watching, I know y'all are real estate agents. I'd love you guys think, and especially about the crowdfunding that we're going to get into, crowdfunding your down payment. So if you do have a comment, just drop it below, and I can actually show it on the screen. We can answer any questions or anything like that. Let's first talk about where the market is heading. We had several stories. We had one that said housing starts are down 4.7%, pending home sales are down 2.6%, not to mention lot size being low, home prices maybe hitting their limit, which is kind of contradictory, it seems.
Well, that's what I find interesting, is that the prices are up, but what people are actually making is not. I think that's an interesting little discrepancy, that you don't really see unless you look at the numbers.
The affordability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But historically, rates are still low. And houses are still comparatively way more affordable than they used to be. Yeah. It's just, I wonder where the mind of the market is. There's a lot of talk at the end of last year about how good 2017 would be and how incredible 2018 would be, and how the market will just kind of continue to grow, continue to explode. But there were a lot of agents, even early on, that were seeing some decreases, seeing some changes in buyer behavior. Yeah. And I'm interested to see, we know that there's going to be another rate increase towards the end of this year. Yellen has said that several times. They actually skipped a rate increase at mid-year and said that pretty much guarantees a rate increase at the end of the year. So with rates going up, I'm interested to see what that's going to do to the housing market. We're down overall. The number of solds in our area are lower than the number of solds last year, but 2016 was huge compared to 2017 or 2015 in our area. Right.
I think I think it's going towards, that it's plateauing, because my partner and I, in our little predictions and our speeches to potential clients is, this will be our last great year, like this summer and kind of right now, because interest rates are where they are. You could still, if you're selling and buying, you can still sell not quite for top dollar, but buy when the market's not at its peak. But this all data is kind of leading to where we're plateauing now. It's not really let's see what happens next summer. It's plateauing now because it's been a trend of 2 years now where we haven't seen quote unquote enough inventory.
Yeah. And now with housing starts being down, and some say that's due to the construction, everything's going on for the hurricane relief efforts, a lot of the building materials increasing in price, which makes it less desirable for a builder to now build a house because he's going to make less money. So there's fewer housing starts now due to some of those natural disasters we're having in California. The fires in California that are happening too,
they're everywhere.
A lot of issues. So
we
have a lot going on in the housing market. There's no real way to know. I think kind of in conclusion, there's no real definitive way to know. Everyone tried to predict this year, last year, and they missed. So I, in my opinion, just moving in the market that you're in and knowing what to do in this market can still make you or break you a ton of money or not. So,
I just think, you've heard me say it before. I think you need to, if you're an agent, if I'm speaking to agents right now, you need to know the situation that your lead or your seller is in. They're they make their own little market. How much do they owe on the home and stuff like that? And you have to kind of cater your listing presentation or how you're going to sell their home to them, but excuse me. I think that, the agents that are on top of it and know their stuff, I think you can still thrive in this because you know how to cater your business to what they need right now.
Yeah, people still have to move. People are still making job changes. People are still making life changes. So, it's not like housing dies. It doesn't die. It just changes.
It's a shift.
Affordable or less affordable, more supply or less supply. So,
it
is happening. I think we're all feeling that. So,
yeah, for sure.
Speaking of the shift and money, let's talk about crowdfunding your down payment.
I don't know, man.
So, I guess you could say for years this has already been done, right? When grandma would help, the youngins fund your future home purchase, or mom and dad in some cases. We see gift funds given for various reasons that have to be claimed and tracked. So this is a way to do gift funds, but your friend can do that. And here's Billy Jean. Why is that a thing?
That's good.
I think it kind of goes back to the story that we were talking about, where there's more people that want to purchase a home, but they're not able to afford the down payment. Now this is a way for them to, how'd they say, tell their story, and fund your way home.
Fund your way home, which, hey, by the way, props. That's a great tagline. I totally get it. So here's my thing is, I don't want to go too personal with this, but I'm a big believer in earning this and earning that and working so hard to attain this or that. But that's such a blanket statement. I don't have any student loans. I don't have that debt. I have my other debt, but I don't have any other debt. So I don't know what that's like when it costs so much just to go to school now, and then you don't know if you're going to get a job when you get out or not. So, that's the tough thing here. But is this how is this going to take things? I don't need to worry about it. I'll just crowdfund. I'll just ask for it from people I don't know and tell my story. Is that, am I bucking it because I'm a stubborn old guy? I'm the grandpa on the lawn saying, get off my lawn, or is it just because, because there's that whole thing too about, when you bought a house, meaning the baby boomers, houses were $100,000, $150,000. Now that same house, California, now that same house is $650,000. Wages haven't gone up comparative to where house prices are, so I don't know. This is kind of a scary thing, but if it gets a foothold, wouldn't it be good?
Well, so for the market currently, I don't think it would be a good thing, because right now the problem that we're having is a lack of supply, right?
Yeah.
Specifically at the lower end. So if now we're allowing people to crowdfund their down payment, which we'll talk about the viability of if that's going to actually happen for somebody.
Right.
But if we're allowing people to crowdfund their down payment, and let's say it takes off like a rocket, and there's all these, now we have new home buyers, it's almost like the USDA has opened up to a whole nother set, of rural development where you have 0% down, allowing more people to purchase a home without putting any money down at all. I'm sure there are fees on top of this. I mean, it's not just a good natured thing from a bank. They're making money off of it.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
is it really good for the market to have a whole population or a whole group of people that are not putting anything down to make their first home purchase?
Yeah, they essentially have no skin in the game. They didn't save, a client that I just got pre-approved a week ago. He's the one that I was showing houses to yesterday. He literally moved back home to save, and now he has his FHA down payment, and it was not too long, I think it was 9 months, but he made that sacrifice to save that money, and now he saved it. Now he's ready to go. So he's earned it. He's going to really feel like, hey man, I worked to get here. I didn't just put up a web page and say, help me out. This is my story. What do you think? So yeah. I feel like he's going to, because he already had the job, that he makes great money with. And he worked, the credit was low. He fixed the credit, and then he got himself a down payment. He got himself there. And I think that's so, like, he's going to be really proud of that home and that purchase. You know what I mean? Maybe a little more pride of ownership, I think.
Yeah, pride of ownership. That was how another realtor described a neighborhood one day. He said, this home has a great pride of ownership. I thought that's a great way to say that people are taking care of their stuff.
Exactly.
But it does beg the question, will they have the same pride of ownership? Somebody that just gets a crowd-funded down payment doesn't have to really work for it. It's not really earned, but it's given. Yeah. Of course, there are also situations in which that could be helpful. A family's gone through a travesty and maybe they didn't set up insurance, so they didn't set up those things. So this offers an opportunity for somebody to crowdfund a down payment, allow them to purchase the home, maybe the one they're in, if they haven't finished paying it. They could, maybe there's some refi options there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting to consider. I don't think it's going to be widespread. I think the first time that I see this come across my Facebook feed and somebody is crowdfunding their down payment, just the amount of memes and GIFs that people are going to drop on that is going to be incredible. And the screenshots that will be taken of it and shared worldwide will be incredible. I
wonder too, like, what if my story is not as good as yours? And I can't get any traction on it.
Story.
And I get like $73 for my.
That's right.
Like, I don't reach my goal in a month. Is that gonna? now I've wasted a month waiting for other people to crowdfund my down payment, and now I don't have any down payment because my story sucks.
Right. Instead of having the garage sale to sell all your stuff, like everyone suggested. Okay.
Still getting calls.
Hello.
Yeah. Should I take it? It's just, I know it's going to be going to be a caller.
All right. So let's get into our picks of the week.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first. So I will talk a little bit about this platform that we're on now. It's called BeLive, BeLive. I was on the Tim Macy show earlier this week, in which we did this BeLive system. I really like it. There's a couple of different ways that you can go. Facebook Live. This one's really interesting. It's got a lot of things behind the scenes. It's got a lot of controls and stuff like that I have the option to either go full screen on you, or I can go full screen on me, or they even have this option, which is interesting. And I can even make you a mini me, or a picture in picture, or me a picture in your picture. Yeah. So it's got a lot of cool little tools to use. We can also show people's comments, as we've kind of been doing.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I like the ability to have some interaction. Hey, here's one from Melanie. She's on our previous. She said, I have low-income clients who can pay their bills, rent, electric, gas. If the world of RD has opened up their world, I would argue that they have the same pride of ownership. See, there you go.
I like it.
That's good. Thanks, Melanie.
I like it.
Hey, Melanie. So that's an inside joke with her.
I think we figured it out.
Yeah. So this BeLive system allows us to have a little more interaction throughout the show. So by the time we get down to the deep dive and we're going into some of these talking points and want to kind of have more of a discussion, it definitely gives us a much better option to do that than what we were. We were, for those of you who don't know, because I don't think it was published that widely because we were just still trying to figure everything out. We were on YouTube using YouTube Live's function. And YouTube Live does have the ability to have comments and things like that. It's not nearly as discoverable as Facebook.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And this has been cool too, because if you just go live, then you're struggling to look down at comments and things. This puts it up there right for you. It makes it fun for us. Yeah, it makes it a lot more entertaining. Yeah, for sure. So you guys can hear my dog in the background talking to me. Everything. This is a really fun thing. This is cool. So it's BMORE on B Live. BMORE on B Live. There you go. No brainer, man. I love it. We got to get it like an intro and all that stuff one day. One day. We're working on it. Yeah. I mean, I'm just glad to be back recording the show. We got too busy there for a week or two. So. Yeah, I know. It's good. What? He agrees. He totally agrees. She's like, yeah, come on. You need to be doing your stuff, Dad. Come here. Come. Okay. I don't know. Can you see her? No, you can't see her. Oh, there's her paw. So I've kind of said it. Marco Polo was one of my picks. I think it might have been on the first episode. So now since then, I've still been using Marco Polo. It's still great. It's great for interaction. Mm-hmm. But the thing that I've been digging is, and it's gotten much, much better. Can you hear those notifications, by the way? Don't think so. Okay, good. I have my ears in, so I don't know. What notifications? I don't know what you're talking about, Dan. It's really come around. The platform's a lot stronger. Is the Facebook Messenger. Okay. Just to go live and chat with. I've been using it a lot lately with one-on-one, but also multiple. So like you can, like our team has a little Facebook Messenger group, and then you just hit the little video button and it brings up the entire team. And then you're all there. You can still, have fun with your, it'll still allow you to do the fire breathing and still put your cat on your head, and it's kind of fun. So just, if you're talking like an accountability group, it's a rad way to get together, even if you're in the same area, but you're driving and, one of you's driving. So last night we were chatting. I was on showing, someone else was taking their kids somewhere. Someone was at the office, and I think the other one was taking, and we're all chatting. We're all kind of pushing each other forward, and and it's live. So, cool. Like Marco Polo is recorded. So, which is cool. Like I said, for showings, because then your clients can go look at that whenever. But this is like live, and it's been really fun. Like you can tell my excitement, it's kind of exciting. It's been really, really fun. And then just for client wise, because again, we're talking to mainly realtors here, for chatting with clients, if you set up a time, and they have an iPhone and you have a Samsung, you can't do your regular phone chat, but you can go through here. And like I said, the platform's really solid. Like when it was early on, it would drop and you would lose connectivity and things. I've experienced some connectivity, like if you're not on Wi-Fi, and you start getting text messages in, because it's not your phone, so it's all kind of one app trying to pull info in, but it'll only drop it for a second, then it reconnects, and it's seriously been really, really cool. Really cool. So I've used Facebook Messenger for a while, but I've never actually used the video function in it. So I didn't know really cool. You could do a video call with multiple people. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we had. I don't know if it goes in the context of families. You could have family groups. In there. I don't know. This is a group of 4, and we had all 4. Just everyone gets a little quarter of the screen, and then and then you just all chat, and it's simple not to talk with each other because you're seeing each other's faces, and you're when they want to go, and it's just really, really cool. I highly recommend it, and apply it to your business however you think works. With what you're doing, if it's accountability or if it's past clients, whatever. I'd say start using it and get used to it, because you don't want to have that, like, you're on it and you're talking, you're like, oh wait, what do I do? And then you hit the wrong button, or you want it to be, what you're doing, So it's a cool little app. It's really cool. Everyone tests by calling Dan. Sure, right now. So speaking of, tell people where they can find you. Well, we have either on my personal page, usually all of my stuff I post through my personal page, which is just D. Ludwig Rocks. You can find me that way, or Dan Ludwig, obviously, on Facebook. I'm D. Ludwig Rocks everywhere. So wherever, Twitter, I think that's the only other platform out there, isn't there? Just Twitter?
Is it been a few
Instagram, all of them. I'm always D. Ludwig Rocks. And then if you want to see kind of videos that we do, because we do them a little differently compared to how other realtors in California do, at least, theswodekgroup.com. That'll just take you to our Facebook page, essentially. It's fun stuff.
How do you spell that? Swodek?
Swodek. So SWODECK. The Swodek, SWODECK, and then group.
Swodek Group.
The Swodek. You can do theswodekgroup.com, or you can just search on Facebook, and you'll see all our videos there and stuff. And you can tell with Ray and I, this is more informational, but we're having fun. The interaction's great. Yeah. That's why we vibe so well, and that's kind of that's why I dig Ray so much, because it's a little different approach, and I honestly believe any real estate agent can take a different approach to things.
Cool.
Yeah, but don't, because we do.
Yeah, that's right. Don't take a different approach, because that's what we're doing currently.
Keep doing what you're doing.
So everybody can find a long time ago. This is a story for another show, but I got the nickname Ray Zorback. So RAYZORBACK. As most of you know, I'm a Razorback fan.
Yeah.
My name is Ray, so that's the short story, but there's a longer, weirder story with that. But you can find me everywhere. Twitter, Instagram. I think I'm still facebook.com/Ray Zorback. I don't even think I can get my own name anymore. But yeah.
Someone else has it.
Yeah, someone else. It took me 9 years to get RayEllen.com, because I think she was a musician, was like a struggling musician. Her name was Ray Ellen, like, one word.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And for years she had this website and there was music there, and then it went down and I immediately tried to get it, but it was some kind of Chinese website was up. And it was one of those sites that they were trying to get people to click on stuff. It wasn't no actual content there. Yeah. And then they had it for like a couple of years. And then finally, when that went away, I got it. But you don't know how important having yourname.com is until you don't have it.
So there's your tip right there, guys. Have yourname.com. But understand what we're saying. Don't get YOUR name.com.
Right.
Whatever your name is.
Right. Like I got RayEllen.com.
There we go.
That's right.
Sometimes you got to help people.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. You can also find us here about 1 o'clock Central Time on Thursdays, give or take 10 minutes.
That's always right. I'm just going to throw it out there and take ownership. That's always my fault.
Things happen. Well, look, Pete Thorpe. Hey, Pete. Pete's a real estate agent as well. He said it took me over a year to get one. Stalked it forever. Yeah, that's what you have to do.
You know, also you could do.
Buddy, for checking us out.
Yeah.
What?
I was just going to say, also you can do is you can stalk other people's websites where they don't buy their own, and you can buy them and then make them pay you.
Yeah, that's right. That's some of the big things in your area.
You want to do a big troll? That's a great troll.
Somebody bought one of the presidential candidates a couple of years ago and put some bad stuff on there. I can't remember which candidate it was.
It's really good. So, really good.
All right. Anyway, all right. I got to get off. All right. Thanks again for everybody for joining us. You can find us about 1 o'clock Central Time. Now we're probably going to be using either BeLive or Ecamm or something on Facebook. So you'll see the notifications go out that morning for the show that afternoon. So click to make sure you get the reminder. And feel free to talk to us while we're doing this. And we'll, at the end of the show, after we do the headlines, we'll get to your comments and kind of have more of a discussion than just the two of us.
That's what I dig about this too, is interaction. We really do want the interaction. So if you have questions or whatever, we'll totally address them live. We love it.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye, everybody.